Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV. You're here for the reaction to Walsall's last match. Accrington 2, Walsall 1. After such a good week, things have sort of fell off the rails a little bit. I've got Lee. Lee's been at the game. Hey, Lee, you're right. You've just got back, haven't you?
Yes, mate, just got back.
Were you all excited thinking we were going to go on a winning run?
I honestly thought today would be a difficult game because Accrington at home have been half decent, and from what I've seen in some of the highlights, they've played some good football and they're quite fast and attacking wise. And obviously today we found that out, but also the weather conditions were absolutely appalling. But they were the same for both teams, and we just didn't adapt to them weather conditions whatsoever because for whatever reason we thought we'll play the ball as high as we can, and in them conditions you got no chance of knowing where the ball's going to bounce or how it's going to react. So our natural sort of passing just went out the window. In actual fact, I think that's probably one of our worst games for passing, and I know the weather conditions have got to play a part in that, but some of the passing was just absolutely dreadful. Couldn't find each other, and just simple like 5-10 yard passes, and they were going out for throw-ins and goal kicks, and it was just like, what's going on?
I was quite pleased when I saw that we were playing two up front because Jamil Matt played alongside Draper.
Yeah.
Hutch was on the bench again.
Yeah.
Now we know there's some rumours about Hutch.
Yeah.
And that sort of strengthens that rumour a little bit. But first off, we discussed earlier, we were awful, but we managed to get away with it, really. A goal on 9 minutes didn't help, but we restricted them to one. Jackson Smith largely to thank for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, and also a little bit of lack of composure from the Accrington players, because there was two prime times where they had basically three headers in from about 8 yards out, and they should have at least buried one of them, but they went wide. So a bit of poor finishing on their part. But the way Accrington got the ball forward quickly and into the box, it looked like they were a division higher than us. If I'm honest today, Simon, it looked like we was playing a first division team, not a second division team.
I saw the highlights from the Accrington Crew game, and that their goalie looked awful. But I mean, we've gone the whole game now. Given with the conditions, you would think shooting from distance would be a decent idea. And their keeper, we've only had one shot on target all game.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm almost sure that apart from the penalty, we didn't have a shot on target in that first half.
The stats reflect that. I know you've been there, and
yeah. So, like their goalkeeper, virtually, I would say probably for about 80 minutes of that game, they probably didn't even need to have a goalkeeper because we weren't getting the shots off, mate. But even then, and it feels like I'm going to pick on him. Tommy Knowles got himself into some great positions, but that his final ball, his passing, I hate to say it, but it's atrocious. I mean, he's fast and his feet are fast, and you can tell he's got some skill and he's got something about him. But it's just that when he gets into them positions where he can cross the ball over, and I know again the weather conditions weren't ideal. I'll freely admit that the way the rain and the wind was coming down, but some of the balls he was playing in today, it was like, why? What's the point?
The thing is he's not improving. Is he? So coaching wise, is he not capable of picking up instruction and improving in that respect? Or is it the method of coaching?
It's an odd one for me, Simon, because again, I don't really want to be singling out sort of Tommy Knowles and he's, but I like him.
You say Tommy Knowles, you can't fault him for effort.
No, definitely not. No.
He gives everything.
Everything, and again at the end of the game, he was like one of the few players to actually come over and talk to the fans, and you can tell it means a lot to him, and I'm sure it means a lot to all the other players. But sort of with Knowles, he does show it a lot more. He sort of wears his heart on his sleeve, and it does hurt him. It's frustrating because it's just when he gets into them positions, you're just thinking, Tommy, just play the ball into the box, like just whip it across the box. I mean, some of the if you ever get to see like the Accrington highlights tonight or tomorrow, and you see how they get out wide and they were crossing it over into the box, it was far better than what we were doing. And like I said, if they had like a potent finisher, they could have easily had 5 or 6 goals today, easy. Yeah. Jackson Smith again made 2 or 3 really good saves, and there was a couple of occasions where they should have hit the target and they've not hit the target. Thankfully for us, I feel a bit sorry for Jackson on the first goal, because basically it's come through. I think it was either Priestley or Daniel's legs, and he's made a good save from the initial shot, and he has sort of palmed it out as far wide as he can. But obviously, their number 18 was there to like tuck it in on the back post. Yeah. So he was a bit hard done by that Jackson, because he initially made a good save. Their second goal, absolutely ridiculous. The way we should have cleared it, and then we didn't, and then they had another chance of clearing it, and then the number 10 sort of whipped it in. It was a cross more than anything, and it evaded a couple of Walsall players, and Jackson Smith dived at the last minute, and it sort of went over his hand and nestled into the corner. So you can say
very defensively now, since having Priest back, we've been very defensively.
Well, we have, but again today, I don't know whether we can just blame the weather conditions, but the 3 of them today looked nervous, and honestly, from what I saw of them today, it looked like they hadn't played together. I think the biggest thing for me is the lack of communication. You don't really see them talking that much to each other, and we know they've all got a mistake in them, but the passing was just woeful. And I know the weather, like I already keep saying, the weather conditions were bad, but it was bad for both sides. But
you can't blame the weather, can you, really?
Well, I think Accrington dealt with the conditions better than us, but they played the better football than us. They got the ball forward quicker than us. They were to the ball quicker. It was like everything was a lot quicker in their point of view, and everything for us was so slow, so pedestrian. And it was like, what we doing? You could see like some of the players were on the ball, and they were like, what we doing here?
Second half, when we'd gone 2-1 down, of course, Draper sort of pulled us level with Donovan Daniels getting tripped in the box.
Yeah.
Good to see him in the box, by the way.
Yeah.
But second half, they got themselves into the lead. He brought Hutch and DJ on. What do you think of Hutch and DJ?
I've got to admit, right, I've heard the rumours today, and obviously at the game today, people are talking about it. From what I saw when Hutch came on today, he gave absolutely everything he could today, and he played well. And I thought he was probably our best player in that second half. Let alone the bar was quite low, Simon, but he did come on. So from my point of view, if he is going, he's going. But from when he came on, he gave 100%, and he was getting involved, and he was physical, and he was looking to play the ball forward. But again, it was just, I think we've said it all season, it's that final sort of, once we're getting that final third, that bit of quality, that little bit of composure.
Where the quality matters, isn't it?
A bit of luck. There's some passes he's tried to get Draper in, and even DJ. And again, DJ come on, and he looked like he was up for it, and he was giving 100%, and he was battling away, him and Draper. But it just sort of, the bit of the bounce of the ball wasn't going our way. But overall, it wasn't good enough. Let's face it, it wasn't a good performance. And when you think sort of just over a week ago, we played that well at Notts County, to go to Accrington today, it's like chalk and cheese, totally different. It's sort of
consistent. That's the problem with that Matt Sadler faces. The consistency is not there, and that's, you can't. Now we know Ben Boycott came over, spoke to all the players, got right in their ear and that sort of stuff, and he's got them playing, and we got the results. But he's gone back to America, which is only fair. We understand he lives over there. But as everybody sort of gone like, we got away with that. And then everybody's relaxed and gone back into their old routine. But is that unfair or not, do you think?
Looking at today, you would say that's fair. But I suppose we've got to see now what happens against Crewe and then against Wrexham. And then
2 massive games now, aren't they?
Again, Simon, if we lose, we lose. But it's how you lose sometimes, isn't it? If you're giving it your all, can all them players today honestly say they've given their 100% all and their best? No, they can't. They can't, because we saw it today.
I think what I was impressed with, Matt Sadler made the change. He made his changes before Accrington made any.
Well, he had to really. There's the point there, and it's quite a serious one from my point of view. Dave should not have come back on in the second half. I don't know what the club will say about it, right? But I know, or I think, looking at him when he started that second half, he had concussion, mate. Because by the time they took him off, he didn't know where he was.
Got you.
And the way he had,
that was last 10 minutes, wasn't it? I think.
No, he was one of the first ones to go off during the second half.
I got that wrong then. Sorry.
Because when he started because at the end of the first half, he had a clash of heads, and obviously they worked on him in half time. And when he come out in the second half, he had like his head bandaged up and everything. And obviously, once he'd done the first couple of headers, I could just see the way he was on his feet. He was out, mate. He didn't know where he was. He was concussed.
When the team sheet came out, I looked. If we lose a centre half, Harry Williams. If we lose a full back, Folks lose the left back, Taylor Allen. So it's like made sense. But then Akagbu has gone off injured and he's not brought Harry Williams on.
No, because what he did was he put McKenty back into that place. So then which made sense, because obviously we've and to be honest with you, when McKenty went back into that sort of the right hand side of the centre backs, he played half decent there. And I think that's his best position, Simon. I think he's a centre back that can play football, and I think if he played there regularly, you would see him coming forward playing the ball out. And if we want to play the ball out from the goalkeeper through the thirds, I think McKenty in that position would be ideal. I think he's a better option. And then that gives you an extra person to put into midfield, whether that's Teeny, Hutchinson, or Earing, because obviously Earing came on and had sort of 25, 30 minutes again. Some of the passing Earing was doing was good. You could see like he's getting back to where he was before the injury, which is a positive from today. But it's just the conditions, they were poor, but we didn't adapt to them whatsoever. And we were poor. There's no disguising that. We were poor all over the field today.
McKenty, he is. I think we can put him up there for our best midfield player and our best centre half. It's tremendous acquisition, and we're glad he's signed on extra contract as well.
I think if Sadler's going to play 3-5-2 for the rest of the season, I think McKenty would be probably the best position for him. Would be that right-sided side of the three. He can come out and play. But obviously, Sadler wants him to play midfield. But I think it's an option where he could play the right side of the three, and then that gives Sadler the choice to put in an extra midfield player. If he wants to stay there with Comley and Stirk, then he could have Hutchinson, Teeny, or Earing also in that three.
Yeah, and I suppose if you do that, you've got McKenty or Daniels can push forward.
I can see that.
Go and that sort of thing.
But again, it's an hard one to take, because if you lose, you lose. But we didn't play our best, and I don't think Accrington are that good. But they were better than us today, and I think that they've just gone outside the playoffs, haven't they? Now with that win today,
that's sort of getting them back into the mix, isn't it? That's what it is. Just got a comment from Sadler Seb. Embarrassing, Simon. One of many very poor performances this season. Couldn't do the basics and wasn't any passion for the shirt today. It all comes down to how they are coached, in his opinion. I think the likes of Tommy Knowles and that sort of stuff, coaching, we need to coach him to be a better player. He's definitely got his heart in the right place. And McKenty, I don't think you can ever fault McKenty or Daniels. How was Liam Gordon today?
Again, to be fair, from what I saw of him today, it wasn't his best game. And again, I keep mentioning the weather conditions, but it's the same for everybody. When he got forward, he looked good, but he looked more under pressure today, like in his defensive duties. I think the way Accrington play, and they sort of get the ball forward quite quickly, and they sort of at some stages they had like 4 up front. So basically, it occupied all our centre backs and also pushed Knowles and Gordon further back to defend. So obviously, then once we got the ball, they had to make up more room to get forward, which was hard. So I think Accrington tactically sort of made it to their benefit, where he pushed Tommy Knowles and Gordon back. And once you push them back, so then instead of it being 3-5-2, it's more of a 5. Then it's harder for both Gordon and Knowles to get forward.
And then you're not getting the ball through to Matt then, so he's not getting his opportunity to hold the ball.
Again with Matt, I'm not saying he didn't try today, but he looked tired to me. Sort of after about 20-25 minutes, he looked like he was running on empty. I don't know whether that's a fair comment to make, but from what I saw of him,
very good. Last 2 games, he's been very good, and he's looked a completely different player. And the thing is, if he was struggling today, then sometimes, as a manager, if he's struggling, Jamil, just come off, mate. You rest up.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of games to play, and sometimes you have to do that. I'm going to be a bit contentious here. Liam Gordon gets a lot of praise, and he is Mr. Consistent for Walsall, and he's perhaps, a lot of people have got him down as sort of our player of the season so far. But if you're comparing him with Tom Knowles, who perhaps we talk about as being the most frustrating, but Tom Knowles creates a lot more from wing back than Liam Gordon does. Liam Gordon's got 1 goal, 1 assist. Tommy Knowles, 1 goal, 2 assists. But Tom Knowles has more impact on our attacking play. I know he messes it up when he gets there, but he has far more effect on our attacking play than Liam Gordon does.
Well, yes and no, Simon, because don't forget, all season, Liam Gordon's been left back or left wing back. Tommy Knowles hasn't been right wing back all season, has he? I know he sort of started the season there, but then he's been pushed up more forward. So if you're playing in more of an advanced position, you should have more of a bearing on the game in an attacking sense. So you should be more involved. Where Liam Gordon from left wing back, yes, when he can get forward and he's involved, great. But also he's defending more. Where Tommy Knowles had games where he's played more as sometimes, when we've played that 4-2-3-1, and he's been on the right hand side of the 3. He's in that more advanced position, so he should be more involved in the attacking game. Where Gordon's been defending more, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's a fair point. But we need more from our wing backs, don't we?
Well, you do, because that's the whole idea of playing 3-5-2 is your 2 wing backs sort of where you get
coming up the sides, getting the crosses in. That's it.
Especially with Comley, because you saw again today, Comley was dropping back in and making it near enough 4 centre backs. Yeah. So then when that happens, then you can really say to Gordon and Tommy Knowles to basically be wingers more than wing backs. They can be wingers, because then, yes, they've got to come back and track and do their defensive duties. But if Comley's dropping in to help the 3 centre backs, really, between the 4 of them, they should have it covered, shouldn't they? Because basically they're going across the field where Dave's pushed out more to the right hand side and Priestley's gone more to the left, and Comley and Daniels are in the middle, or whether Daniels comes into the middle and Priestley, you know what I mean? So between the 4 of them, they should have that defensive wall there, shouldn't they?
They should do. We've got the fan chat coming up, which is just over a week away, or about 10 days away. One thing I want to talk about on that is Comley seems to have now taken on the CDM role, and Stirk is coming further forward. But Stirk, as an attacking midfielder, that's not really his role. So I think, have we got the old Kinsella, Comley thing, where we got two players who are really CDMs, and we're losing their attacking flair? I want to just hold that, and that's something we can talk on there. Just wrapping up for what we've got for today. SNS Steel Stock performance rating. What are you giving that?
I don't want to be too harsh, Simon, but it's got to be a 5.
A 5, blooming Nick. That's not good. And I think Lee Moorwinder's man of the match. I think we've got 2 candidates there, Jackson Smith and Freddie Draper, haven't we?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to give it to Freddie, because I think without him today, we wouldn't have got absolutely nothing, because there was times in that first half where he was battling on his own and he didn't have the support he should have had, really, and he was like taking Accrington on his own, and he never gave up. He always gives 100%. For a lone player and a 19-year-old, the way he plays is just amazing, tremendous. He just gives it all. I mean, as a lone player, sometimes you could turn around and say, I'll do enough, but he absolutely gives his all. I can imagine after every game, he's absolutely spent and knackered, because the kid absolutely gives it all, and you can't fault him at all for that. And today, he battled, and some of the challenges and tackles that were coming in on him, and he just got himself up, and he just keeps going and going. And he took the penalty.
Such a young player. I did have a little bit of banter on Twitter and on the channel about Ronan Mayer. He's not playing him because he's a youngster, and he's only 5 months. He's only 5 months younger than Freddie, and Freddie's playing every minute. Again,
probably. I'm not saying.
Again, just not good enough.
He must do, mate. Because again, I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that Ram's the answer and the total finish article. But again, in a game like that today, the last sort of 15 minutes for him to come on and to run at their defence and to win them tackles, or to get to the byline and pass the ball over, especially when we've got DJ and Draper in the box, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, for me, did we need to have Harry Williams and Taylor Allen on the bench when you've got, like, especially, and again, no disrespect to Harry Williams, but you've got 5 centre backs on the field to start off with. If one of them get injured, like it did happen today with Dave, and McKenzie dropped back and then they brought Earing on, do you really need to have an extra centre back? Instead of having that extra centre back, could he have had Ram or DJT? Because again, DJT hasn't featured for the last few games. So
the thing is, you've got Joe Fowkes and Tyler Allen on the bench. Well, both of those, it's not ideal, but both of those can play left back or right back.
Yeah.
So and then having both of them on there plus a centre half, you're giving yourself very few options.
Yeah, and again, if you had Ram on there or DJT, it's just somebody with a little bit more pace to come on, especially today. Like, luckily, touch wood, we're only 2 down. I mean, with 15 minutes to go, I think Accrington could have been 3 or 4 in front, but they weren't.
Today, up until the last minute, 10th minute of injury time, and we've still got a chance of grabbing a point.
Yeah, and if you had somebody like Ram or you had somebody like DJT to come on with their pace and run at them, who knows? You run into the box and get another penalty or get a free kick on the edge of the box or do something. It just gives, for me, it gives you that extra option of an attacking option to have and to bring on, instead of having sort of 3 defensive options on the bench. That's just my view. I mean, other people will disagree and say Ram's not ready. Again, I'm not saying he's totally ready, but just for the last 10-15 minutes.
What I've said on that is, I think it was a Twitter Sadler account. The 60 minutes he had against Forest Green, it was clear he deserved more minutes after that. He wasn't a train wreck. He did well in that game. So that tells me that, he needs more. I can give him more minutes. He's not going to let me down.
It's not just that. So I mean, it's not just that, is it? It's like earlier in the season when we went to Blackburn and he came on and he didn't let anybody down. No. Again, when we went to play Shrewsbury in the EFL Cup, he did well in that game. Every time he's come on and he's had like 15, 20 minutes, he's done well. Okay.
One of the comments on Twitter from to clip from a Sadler comment, Mike Sadler comment, and it inferred that sort of energy levels and that sort of stuff. But from what I've heard, fitness-wise, running stats, Ram's right up there with the top 2 or 3.
Well, it should be, shouldn't he? Come on, 19. If you can't run at 19, you're never going to be able to run, are you? But yeah, again, like we don't get to see what's happening every day in training. We just can see what's happening in games. But like I said, when he came on against Blackburn, when he played against Shrewsbury, when he played against Forest Green Rovers, the games he's played at Rushall, okay, it's 2 levels below what we're at. But what more do you want him to do? What can he do? You know what I mean?
He can cope with the physicality.
Yeah.
Got good technical ability.
Yeah.
He just lacks match experience.
And he's not going to get that if he's not playing. So it's a bit of a vicious circle, isn't it? Again, like today, would it really hurt to have had him on the bench and put him on for the last 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
In my opinion, no, it wouldn't.
Matt Sadler said over Christmas, we're going to need everybody, the whole squad. So he's obviously going to get a game then.
Well, we'll see Tuesday, won't we?
And DJT going to get a game.
Okay. You're hoping for a lot, aren't you?
Right then, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much,
mate.
Lee, and well done to all the Sadlers fans who made the journey. And it was a terrible day. Couldn't quite get the point, so that was a bit of a shame. But chins up, we'll go again for Crew, full of Christmas pudding, and hope for the best for that. We'll all be there. Right then, join the pain. As Michael Oakes has commented, the pain returns.
Oh, no. We need that joy coming back.
We do. Thanks for coming on, Lee. Cheers.
No problem, mate. See you later.
Cheers.